welcome to the Questionnaires podcast, where each week we source the best questions from the internet and try to provide the best advice from...
How long does it take for a giraffe to take a breath?
2.
If I left a sandwich floating in space, could I eat it 25 years later?
We're here to prove that every question deserves an answer. Joining me this week, as always, is Marcus.
Hello, Tom.
And Damien.
Ground control to Major Tom.
That's me. Sandwich in space.
Do you reckon you would have to defrost it? The sandwich in space?
Surely. It'd be like a deep freeze. You know how you can deep freeze things?
Yeah.
Like in
Like one of those chest freezers and all that. Yeah. You just got to dust off a bit of the ice and you're still good to go.
In my head, when I read that question, I was imagining it just like the sandwich, not wraps, just floating in space. But it makes sense to leave it in like Tupperware or something like
I imagined it floating around as well.
All of its parts. Like, what sort of sandwich do you think it would be?
Vegemite sandwich.
It had to be something with a spread.
So you know, like when it's like how Mark, you put the American flag is on the moon. It's like, well, the Australian Vegemite sandwich is floating around in space.
Yeah,
I think Vegemite is something that might actually last 25 years as well.
Oh yeah,
I'm not eating a salami sandwich that.
What about peanut butter and jelly or jam?
I don't know. Like, I mean, I feel like has more. Like, that could go rancid, but I guess it's got yeast. I don't know. They did send a wine up to space. I don't know if you guys saw that.
A wine?
Yeah.
Ooh.
The idea was like, we'll send it up to space.
Shiraz.
We'll let it like age for a year.
Yeah.
And then it's come back now, and they're going to sell it for like $1 million a bottle or something like that.
Oh, so they sent a cast, like a whole
Where's
case.
this one from? The Barossa Valley? It's like, nah, dude. Space.
This is space aged from Chateau Uranus. It's only the finest wine.
It's good stuff. To the edge of the universe and back.
There we go.
Hopefully it doesn't taste like shit.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, right? It came back and they apparently had like
tasting?
legitimate wine testers to taste it and say it actually tastes better than the ones that were aged on Earth. But I think if you spent all the money to send wine to space in the International Space Station, you're gonna lie and say, of course it tastes better.
100%.
Yeah.
You're not gonna spend $1 million to say it tastes like shit.
Yeah.
You know?
I think if anything, it probably just got a healthy dose of radiation while it was in space.
Yeah, right.
exactly. You
Comes
drink
back
it,
green, glowing.
you drink and you become Superman or Super Grape.
Or your ears start bleeding immediately.
What's the real radiation
I
poisoning?
think who should really benefit from this is Subway, because they've had the whole Jared thing sort of ruin their reputation. They need to start, the next frontier is space. Like,
Send the subs to space.
Send your subs to space, and then maybe people will forget about Jared and everything that he did.
This footlong has seen Uranus.
Oh,
That's
boy.
somehow worse than their last ad campaign.
Oh, well, look, guys, I'm just happy that we're able to do 2 episodes in a row, basically, because we've had like a week on, week off, week on, week off. So it's good to know that we can get one out there for the people of the kingdom.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's what we're here to do. We're going to answer some questions from the internet that we find. We source them from wherever it may be. We try to provide advice to these people and help them on their way. That's how the show works. The other thing we do is we choose a theme for each week to name the question asker. And it's Marcus's theme.
It is my theme.
This week.
I think it was my theme last week, and I completely stuffed it. So Tom,
I hijacked it.
Tom hijacked it, which Tom saved the day actually. Yeah. But this week it was me, and I've got 2 ideas because today, the day of recording, is one national day, and tomorrow is another national day, and I like both of them so much.
Okay.
I want to ask you guys which one you would prefer. Mm-hmm. So today's national day, I think it's today, is National Biscuit Day. So I wanted you guys to either pick your favorite biscuits.
Okay.
Tomorrow's national day is National Piercing Day. So I wanted to ask you guys, if you were to get a piercing, or if you already had a piercing, or in the childhood you wanted to get a piercing, and now, being mature, you're like, I don't want it anymore. But you did want it as a kid.
Right. Okay, so how are we going to decide which one do we want to do? They're both very different.
I think we've done enough food.
Yeah.
So I think piercing is probably the more, because I'm curious to see what piercings you would get, because we've never had this conversation
it's
before.
actually very true. We've talked so much, but we've never talked about this.
This is good because I can finally talk about my butthole piercing that I got years ago.
You got your butthole, both cheeks pierced together.
Yeah, exactly. No, the actual hole.
Yeah, yes.
I haven't gone in years.
As he poos, it's like a equal sign.
No, we don't need to go. Oh, God. I couldn't stop him in time.
You thought this was a safe bet. Marcus didn't bring anything that was gross.
I didn't say I pierced my butthole.
All right. Enough.
But you took it and ran with it, unfortunately. I forgot you just need a centimetre of rope to, to stretch it out.
All right, Tom, you go first, I think.
I'll go first with this one. And this one, I think, was a pretty popular one around the early 2000s. I'm going to go with eyebrow piercing.
Ooh.
Were you like actually considering it at a point?
It's one that I would like to do, but it was one of those ones that you heard about, like when you get your eyebrow pierced, it could make half your face paralyzed.
That's true. true. I
One
heard
of my
that.
brother's friends had a nerve pinch.
Jet set.
And like really, it
It's
was
not
okay
permanent,
in the
though.
long
That's
run.
that's the thing. It's not like it's just going to go. Oh.
Yeah, like half of
It's a
his
kill
face.
switch for your side of your
Yeah,
face.
like he didn't become Two-Faced or anything,
Yeah.
but like he definitely messed with him for a little bit because they hit the wrong part when they put it in.
That's the thing, and they skewer it with like a rod, don't they?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Anyway, it's a pretty cool thing to do is get that eyebrow piercing. But
Right. It shows you the most dangerous.
Would you have like a stud or would you have a ring?
I'd have probably the bar, like the
Right,
maybe
yeah.
the bar.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
Of the time, I'd probably have bar.
Yeah.
8-ball on the top now.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know, like
dude.
the stick.
Let's
yeah,
ask
who knows?
the 8-ball.
All right, so the eyebrow piercing writes in, should I share my birthday gift? So my dad bought me a used laptop last year for my birthday, and I used it for school and to write stories. But then his wife's son wanted to use it too, so now he said I have to share it with him. He uses it for a few hours. He freaking messed the keyboard because he eats when he uses it, so they're all sticky. A few times he's messed with my stories, and then I've saved them after adding his own stuff or accidentally deleting it. I got fed up and told my dad I don't want to share it with him anymore if they're not going to make him stop messing with it. My dad said he bought it so I can't say anything unless I buy my own stuff. Well, I have my own part-time job and have my money saved up. So what I ended up doing was going to Best Buy and buying myself one. This one was a lot nicer too, and it's not used. Now her son is mad because he likes this one more, and my dad is pissed that I bought another laptop. He called me ungrateful for not appreciating my birthday gift, and it wasn't a big deal letting her son, use it. He's not telling me I need to share it because I think he knows he'd kind of be a hypocrite for telling me to buy my own stuff if I want to have a say, but they're still mad at me. Eyebrow piercing. So dad got the gift, and the son was starting to use it. He's like, well, if you want to fucking, if you don't like it, buy your own. He bought his own. He's just like, you're ungrateful now.
He's called his bluff.
Called his bluff, and he bought a laptop from Best Buy.
Yeah.
The question made me kind of think of when I was younger. I'm guessing you guys probably went through a similar thing. Is that you only had one computer for the whole house?
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
So you
of
almost
course.
So if like your older brother was on, there was no chance you were
That's
going
for
to
the
get
whole
on.
house. It wasn't just like for like the siblings and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a laptop that you could take anywhere as well. It was like you're on the computer,
Exactly.
Yeah.
which is located generally in a pretty centralized space.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
exactly.
So it made me think of that because I guess you kind of take for advantage now that everything is a computer. Your phone's a computer.
Yeah, you've got
an
that
iPad.
access everywhere you
You
go.
can do it everywhere. So I do feel for her kind of having to share this one laptop in an age where you kind of have that thing. You have it in
It
excess
would be
in a
like
way.
sharing a toothbrush.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
the equivalent
exactly,
of the
yeah.
2021 is sharing something's like super personal. Sharing a toothbrush.
Yeah.
It's
exactly.
your own device,
I feel like it's kind of ratty from the dad to say, here's a present, a used laptop, by the way. Maybe you can't afford it, but it's a used laptop.
Yeah.
But now you got to share it. It's just like, you're going to get the whole family a laptop anyway, and now
Yeah.
you're just using it as an excuse for my birthday present.
Yeah,
Eat
exactly.
a dick, Dad.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah, no, fair enough.
I'm pretty pissed.
I'm writing a negative story about
And
you
then
on the laptop.
the dad's girlfriend's like, her son needs the laptop, and he's like, well, I want to keep my girlfriend happy. So,
Yeah.
hey, son,
Son,
use this
Yeah.
to keep her happy.
Yeah.
Her son's happy. She's happy. I'm happy. We're happy.
I'm not
Yeah.
happy.
I get them sharing the laptop if, like you said, Marcus, maybe financially they can't afford to have multiple laptops.
Yeah.
But if they've gone out and bought their own computer, I don't see what the issue is. You give him the hand-me-down.
Yeah.
Sounds like he's eaten, full meals over the top of the keyboard.
Yeah, right.
Plus he's vandalizing the stuff that you're making
I
on
love
there.
that edited the stories to be like he's writing like some sort of fanfic, and then he's just like the other son's just like I'm gonna add this in, and then the main character kissed a dog. You made out with a dog, and
crazy.
you submitted it.
In your fantasies, you make out with a dog.
That's so weird, bro.
Oh, man.
It reminded me of when I was younger, I used to go to my cousin's house a lot, and they'd have two computers. And generally, me and my boy cousin would hang out in one room on another computer, and my female cousin would hang out in another room on her computer.
Yeah.
And we would speak to each other through like Messenger and
Messenger,
stuff, even though she was in the other room. And all the time she'd have her school assignments up, and she'd leave the room, and I'd go in and I'd add a couple rogue sentences in her essays. Most of the time, she'd find her, right?
Right.
And like you said,
she knew if she left the room
Well,
with
it's when
you
you go-
present, there's rogue sentences
it'd
about
be like,
afoot.
and then King Lear ate a big poo or something like that. I'd like be messing with her like literature
Now
essays,
he's
right?
taking it to the gun.
Hey, come on, don't talk about poo poo.
Sorry,
Yeah.
but then there was one time that she didn't catch the sentence I put in there. So I usually waited for her to be like, "Oh, Damien, you got me again." never
hear
heard
about
about it, and she submitted the essay.
Oh boy!
She's like, what the hell? My teacher was like, why is this in the essay?
Why is King Lear eating duty?
Why is King Lear called King Lear? I thought it was a typo, but it's in every time he's mentioned. He's called King Lear.
King Lear had his
Control F. Control King Lear.
Control 30 times.
Control F poo just to see if Damien's been in there.
So I felt horrible when that happened because, it never came back.
If only the King Lear had his butthole pierced shut.
Yeah, that's it.
It
It would have been all right. The story would have
So
worked
you've
out.
Things
done,
turned
you've
out
done
better.
that. That's a dirty dog move, I reckon.
I was
dirty
young.
dog.
I was young and dumb.
And look, it happens. It
Yeah.
happens. It happens. But see, like I said, this gift is shit. You know what this person has to do? Re-gift the used laptop to either your dad
No, what? Wait,
Happy
what?
or the
birthday.
brother.
This is it's like you have to become super rich and then rub it in the dad's face.
Yeah.
And then be like, you get this secondhand
Yeah.
peanut butter keyboard
There. Here you go.
computer.
But what is your reasoning for that?
Just
Give it to the dad.
because.
Just because.
Just because, Damien.
Because it sounds like the dad's just in a shitty mood. He's not going to tell him to make him share the good
Damien,
laptop.
don't you know, revenge is a dish best served petty. So be as petty as you can.
I don't
be.
think that's the saying,
That's
Tom.
the saying,
Oh,
Damien.
Yeah, that's
okay.
the saying, David. I don't know if you know this or not. All right.
How did you guys manage computer use when you were back in the one computer days of the household?
Oof.
How did you do it?
It's in order of brotherly.
Because you had two older brothers, Marcus,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you were obviously and you too, Damien.
Yeah,
so you
I
guys
reckon
were,
we probably had a similar experience.
you were
My
you were
oldest-
third tier citizens.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we were.
My oldest brother had his own computer for a while until we
Right.
got to the age of computer literacy, and then the oldest one said, "Put it in the other two brothers' rooms for whatever reason." He goes, "Yeah, put him in that room." And ever since then, it was pretty much brother goes, "All right, I want to go on the computer now. Get off." And so I would always be like, you're 5 o'clock until about 7 o'clock, 7:30, and then that's when my older brother would kick us off. And
And he
do
jump
it.
onto Merc and AOL chat and all that type of stuff.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
The brother just above me, he would just jump onto Messenger and listen to music or whatever he used to do. And I was in the same bedroom and he used to listen to it without headphones on. He's just asserting dominance. It's like,
Yeah.
you trying to sleep? Well, here, listen to some hard
Listen
trance.
to Metallica's. Oh, okay.
Bam!
Hard trance. There you go.
Hard trance, not Lars.
No.
It was hard trance.
It's hard trance.
Yeah, no, I didn't get much screen time.
Yeah.
Which is probably why I spend a lot of screen time now on a computer.
Making up for it.
That's because my brother would have Napster and stuff, so he'd be downloading music and he'd be like, "You can't play Flash games right now.
Yeah,
It's slowing down the internet."
If you look at pictures, it's going to take forever
Exactly.
to download this 3 megabyte song.
Yeah, and the same thing happened. My brother eventually got a laptop, and then I didn't want the shitty old computer that he gave me and my middle brother.
Yeah.
We wanted the laptop.
Yeah.
So I can kind of empathize with the guy in this situation.
At what point did you get your own computer?
That's a really good question.
I'm trying to remember too.
I don't know. I definitely ended up with the slow computer with Windows 95, and when I
Yep.
turned it on, it sounded like the whole world was about to end. Just
It's the apocalypse.
Yeah, right.
but yeah, I can't think of when I actually. You know what? Probably year 11.
Yeah,
For IT, because we
Yeah.
had to buy one for the subject.
Right, so you had a laptop then?
Yes.
Oh, see, I never had a laptop until I think year 12, and my push for that was because I had a desktop. I think once I started part-time work, I started to save a bit of money, and I'm like, I want to build a computer, go to a computer shop, get all the parts, make a computer so I can play games on it. So it was probably maybe year 10 or so. I had a desktop PC in my room, and then I got into video editing and stuff like that. And then my push in year 12 was to be like, well, I need to get a Mac computer because if something's going to happen with this video editing thing, it needs to happen now.
Yeah.
And I need to go to an Apple store and get one. And that's what happened. And then I think that's when I got my first laptop in year 12.
Yeah.
So at 18, 17, 18.
I think it was about 20.
Yeah, I remember the laptop that I got. For some reason, it seems like Dell laptops were really hot 10 years ago for some
And
reason.
they're apparently really hot. You can cook eggs on
Yeah,
them too.
yeah, exactly.
That's the thing. There was one day, because I was on my laptop watching TV, and a story came up, and it's like, a recent range of laptops batteries have been exploding. And then it's like, it's the latest Dell ones. Please check your serial number to make sure it's not. I remember lifting my laptop up and the serial number matched. I was like, oh my
You
God.
turn it up and there's a ticking clock on there. It's counting down.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
And to think about it, it's a lot of the time the laptop was placed over, the
groin,
family
your groin.
jewels.
Yeah, right.
So
That's right.
I'm glad it didn't explode.
Could
Or
have
else,
kiss those good, little boys goodbye.
the family line might have been cut short.
That's right.
If it's
Right
Dell.
there.
So
Right there.
yeah, there you
Yeah,
go.
right.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's dial it back to
Yes.
Eyebrow Ring.
Yes.
What do they do? I mean, they've bought the laptop now. They've got the spanking new one.
Yep.
I think if anything, you should be able to say, okay, yeah, you got this gift for me, and I am still, out of the goodness of my heart, letting the the stepbrother use it. You know, I'm not making him buy it. I'm not selling it off to him, so I'm not sort of profiting off a gift. He's not regifting it.
Yep.